Hey, so guys, Karn here. So I thought I would share with you guys my plans for League Start. So I'm gonna start Earthshatter Commander, and the reason for that is that obviously I'm gonna be playing HC, and I haven't played P1 in a long time, so I'm gonna be pretty rusty, and I want to play something that has good defense, so that I don't die. And most ascendancies don't really have that much defense, and if they have defense, they have no damage. Commander is one of them, obviously. You have a lot of defense, but your damage is pretty lackluster. Although Commander has an advantage where if you play slams, and Earthshatter in particular, you can actually get a lot of power and damage from your first node, which is called the Ancestral. This gives a lot of damage for Earthshatter very early on, especially on day one. This will go from anywhere from 60% more damage to 60, 40, 50, 40, and as it tempers off, as you get better recovery rate from your gem qualities and all that stuff, all the way down to 23, 25% more damage. So it is still good damage, and it's also pretty big quality of life for something like Earthshatter, where you want to be able to pop your spikes every time you attack, right? And without that recovery rate, usually like there's some downtime, even later, unless you have like a bunch of Warcry cooldown recovery rate on your tattoos. But as you can see, there's some downtime where I cannot pop my spikes, and that is not gonna happen with Commander, because your Warcries will, from the get-go, entering maps, you will have like 2.5 second cooldown recovery rate, 2.5 second cooldown on your Warcries, where like right now, for example, it's 3.69, so it is a big difference. On top of it, obviously, insane defense, you have +3 endurance charges, Ancestral Defiance, which I will show real quick how it looks for those who are not aware. This is a map with crit haste, monster damage, whatever. This is a character, by the way, that's just pretty much like basic life and res gear. Nothing crazy here. And you basically cannot die in mapping like at all. The only way to die is pretty much getting 2-shot, 3-shot, 2-shot, 1-shot maybe, but like I can just AFK here and I will never die. And this is what Defiance does. Like, this is obviously, this Defiance is not gonna be your only defense. It's just that you have that on top of having like absurdly high defenses through endurance charge stacking. And so what I'm gonna do is, for progression, we're gonna get Cold Ancestor first, and then we will automate our Intimidating Cry as soon as we get that. That will be pretty much up all the time while leveling the campaign. And then we go Toughened Skin for the extra armor and Freeze Chill Immunity, which will come in handy, and then Ancestral Endurance, Ancestral Defiance for Uberlab. Could also go Born Under Fire instead of Toughened Skin, but I think for League Start, Toughened Skin is better because it helps a lot with your early game, being immune to Freeze and Chill and Temp Chain, all these things. And also helps you like get a good amount of armor like very early on. Born Under Fire obviously is very good, but it's conditional. And one thing that I'm not gonna note, so that there's no confusion, you cannot get full conversion with this. I've seen people say like, oh yeah, go 100% Feast Taken Eyes with Lightning Coil and stuff. That does not work this way. This is, enemies convert their damage to fire. It is very different from you converting the damage you receive to whatever element. So for example, if you have Born Under Fire with the Lightning Coil, you will convert only 75% of the damage taken to elemental, because the physical damage taken to elemental, because the enemies will do only 50% of the damage as physical, and then you will convert that 50%. You convert 50% of that 50%. So do not misunderstand how this works. You can also stack. This would stack with the Chaos belt that converts 25% of enemy physical damage to fire. That would work to put it down to 75%, and then if you use a coil, then you get another. It goes up to 87%. But obviously, you would not want to do that. This is a node that you would take, and probably not even get any more version. A lot of value. I have a PB here with everything from leveling tree, every stage of the game. Other than that, you're also gonna have like the skill sets, obviously, for like at every stage of the game. Once you enter maps, once you're in game, I should probably add. I will have this updated for Echoes of Creation, with or without it. See, it's something that I'm gonna keep updating a tiny bit until the league starts, if I think of anything. But the general idea is here. I have, again, different trees, stage. So yeah, you can transition from this build into pretty much anything that you can do on Commander. Like the things I think that would be good would be Dual Strike with Dexterity. You could do Lightning Strike, Molten Strike of the Zenith. There's pretty much any strikes you can do on that, and you would just replace called the Ancestors with Ancestral Reach. Do not use Ancestral Echo no matter what if you're playing strike skill. This is really bad. You need to actually move to get the extra strike at the previous location, so it works only once and then you have to move a certain distance. But do not take that, it's pretty bad. Ancestral Reach is very, very good though. This is an extremely good node. You get an extra strike, and mostly we get the old mastery from the strike wizard we had before that I made. I made a video about this, if you guys remember. And the strike skill can target enemies from 50% further away, and that is massive. That means that, for example, normally you strike your ancestral guy that for your extra strike will hit like from this distance around, about this distance. But if you have that node, you can probably hit like from this far away. And it is pretty massive for damage up time, obviously. It is gonna make it a lot easier, for example, for like with lightning strike to be able to get you double hit in, because when I need to be at the right distance, you can't be too close and you can't be too far, obviously, because otherwise you don't get the extra strike. But with that node, you will probably be able to hit from like this far away, and it's gonna be pretty insane. It'll be extremely comfy. It's gonna be very good uptime on a single target on bosses, things like Super Cyrus, for example. But yeah, I will maybe put out the PUBs for stuff like Dual Strike, Lightning Strike, Molten Strike. You can also do General Scry, obviously, with Volcanic... no, sorry, Tectonic Slam. Tectonic Slam is what I'm thinking. Yeah, Tectonic Slam Cataclysm. Obviously, it's very good. General Scry or Totems. Totems are also an option if you want to play that. You would go the same thing, just replace Call of the Ancestors with Force of the Ancestors, which gives you even more defense. And yeah, speaking of defense, I'll show you what they look like on this build, and it is pretty insane. As you can see, this is the damage. This would be a defense with a relatively min-max character, with like Endurance Charge rings, Endurance Charge boots, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And then if you have a Forbidden Flesh and Flame, this is what your defense would look like. And obviously it's not even 90 res, like you could also min-max it more to get 90 or res, and then it would be like 300k max hit for every element. This is no Molten Shell, also to clarify, because I know that some people do that in their PUBs and they take Molten Shell, but obviously we don't do that. This is naked. You're naked with your Endurance Charges on, which you will always have. One thing that I would recommend doing is have a weapon swap with Red Bed Banner, to just basically you enter a zone, you swap to that shield, use Enduring Cry that you're gonna have on that shield, not on your other weapon main links. And then swap back on, and that's it. And then the implicit on your body armor will keep them up forever. You don't have to worry about it. Obviously, it's not necessary. You don't need that. You're always gonna have min power from your Endurance Charge from the Mastery, the Warcraft Mastery, and that will just generate them 2 at a time. But I think in the end game, once you have, there's no reason not to do the swap. Pretty much, it's free. It takes you 1 action every zone, and that's it. And then you don't have to worry about Endurance Charges. Yeah, one thing to know as well is that obviously Commander doesn't have that much damage in the Ascendancy, so this is gonna be pretty easy DPS if you want to compare this with the most extreme builds with the most extreme damage. Obviously this is not gonna be one of those. This is just extremely good at League Start, because you get all your damage, most of your damage, you get it just early from War Cries, a good axe, and poly on your gems, this type of stuff. This is where most of your damage comes from. Then in the end game, the main thing that's gonna give you more damage is Echoes of Creation and just basically in a big axe, and that's pretty much it. And I guess like some jewel, like some things like Light of Meaning with physical damage, Watcher's Eye, this type of stuff will give you more damage. So, for the most part, it doesn't scale extremely well in the very end game, but for League Start, this is extremely good. Your damage, you come online extremely early. You can do all content from the get-go with just 5, 6, well, I would say a 6-thing because it's a commander, it's not a slayer. But I would say like a 6-thing and a good axe, and you can pretty much do everything. And you can just farm for the builds, or if you wanna, you're having fun on this build and you wanna min-max it, well, this is there's an idea here. Again, like I said, it's just inspiration. You could do a lot of different, you could do things differently, but this is just to give you an idea. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. If you have any questions, I'll be playing that on League Start, so you just can come to my stream at twitch.tv/Karl_, and I'll be playing that at League Start, probably for, I'm probably gonna end up like min-maxing this, because I always end up in this situation where I start slams, and I'm having a good time, so I just stay with slams, and then I get more gear, and I end up not transitioning into anything, because it just works so well. Yeah, well, we'll see. I'll be playing this. If you have questions, you know where to find me. Yeah. So that's gonna be it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.